Good afternoon. This is your Governor, Bryan, giving you your weekend coronavirus update, what is happening and what we've done thus far. First, I'd like to thank the public and the press for their continued cooperation in making sure that we keep safe. We're seeing that you're staying at home, we're seeing that you're staying off the streets, and we really appreciate that. Continue with the hand washing, the making sure that you're keeping isolated as much as possible, and if you're sick, you remember, you stay home. Just keeping you up to date, so far we have 6 confirmed cases in the U.S. Virgin Islands. So far we've had 25 negative tests, which brings us right around 18% as those coming back negative. We'd like to say that we're contact tracing, looking for those individuals who may have come in contact with people who have been deemed positive. We urge you, if you have been contacted, to stay quarantined, stay home and isolate in your home as much as possible. We want to say to the public to remain calm as we find more and more positives. The point is to find the positives. We're doing the testing that is required to find the people who are affected and quarantine them as quickly as possible. The one thing that we are trying to do is flatten out the curve. We recognize that this virus is already in our community, and it would have been no matter what we have done. The point is now to stop it from spreading and to have as little as possible people report to hospitals or need medical attention. Remember, there is a state of emergency that is currently in effect. From this morning, no more than 10 customers in any establishment except for grocery stores, big box stores, and the like. Social distancing at all times. Try to stay 6 feet away from anyone when you go out and you leave your house. Remember, try to observe the stay-at-home policy as much as possible. Please do not go out unless it's absolutely necessary. It's okay to take a walk, it's okay to take a drive, but please refrain from congregating with others and allowing for the spread of the virus. There will be no camping for Easter. At this time, our beaches are open. We want people to stay off of them as much as possible. If you do go to the beach, maintain your social distance. Please do not hold parties, do not hold picnics and barbecues. Enjoy the beach, but stay away from people. Just giving you a look ahead at what to expect as we move on. Effective Monday, and we'll be doing another press conference to bring people up on this. Essential employees for the government only are to report to work. Those employees have been identified at this point by their commissioners. We're trying to keep as many people at home and then depopulate the offices of our government. Stay at home, stay at home, stay at home. I can't say it enough. All bars will be closed effective Monday. There will be no bar activity. Those bars that are in restaurants will be open for takeout only. Takeout only. We'll have no in-house dining in restaurants effective Monday. Effective Monday, we're taking our taxi capacity down from wherever it is. We're cutting that in half. So if it's 10, it's 5. If it's 20, it's 10. Trying to restrain as much as possible. We've been monitoring the ferries. So far, rider counts are looking around average 100 people. We meet with the ferries on Monday and we'll update you on that from St. Thomas to St. John and how we can control that. Effective Wednesday, we're going to have a stay-at-home order. This is not a curfew. Now, before we're just urging people to stay home. Now we're really going to be trying to keep as much people off the street as possible. We can't close the airport. So what we're going to do is we're coming up with this idea that no hotel, no timeshare, or no Airbnb will be allowed to accept any new guests. If you have guests, they can stay, but any new guests except government or emergency-related personnel will be allowed to register at hotels. Any such registration will be fined, and this will be strictly enforced. We want to send out this international message that if you're coming to the Virgin Islands, you will not have anywhere to stay for the next 30 days. This is subject to change depending on what we see as far as the spread of the virus in the community. The other thing that we're doing, and we want to explain to the public, that when they are saying on the news that there are stay-at-homes in states, you have to understand, this is not a curfew. Puerto Rico is the only place underneath the US flag that has a curfew, and that curfew is from 9 p.m. to 6 a.m. We are not imposing a curfew at this time, we are imposing a stay-at-home. The stay-at-home in your state will be similar as it is in the Virgin Islands. And in the States, it does not cover essential business such as places that sell or produce foods, grocery stores, food banks, convenience stores, pet supply stores, stores for non-grocery products and other products. It does not cover restaurants. It wouldn't cover food cultivation. It wouldn't cover gas station. All these places will be exempt. Auto supply stores, auto repair stores, car dealerships, banks and credit unions, hardware stores, garden nurseries, building supplies, laundromats, dry cleaners, and laundry service providers. All these businesses are exempt right now in the States. They will be exempt from the stay-at-home, as long as they keep those customer rates under 10. Plumbers, electricians, exterminators, custodial, handyman, funeral home, morticians, moving service, HVAC installers, carpenters, anybody that deals with constructions. All these people are exempt. So when you're seeing this on the TV, you have to understand this is not a state-imposed curfew, and in the Virgin Islands, we are imposing the exact same thing. Business supplies that produce computers or give office supplies are exempt. Businesses that ship, truck, provide logistical information, deliver grocery, foods, goods, or services directly to residents are exempt. Restaurants can still have takeout services. Airlines and taxis are exempt. Private transportation, including limo services, are exempt. Businesses that provide parts and service for essential infrastructure are exempt. Professional services such as legal, accounting, when necessary to assist us in whatever we're trying to do to mitigate this virus, is exempt. Places that provide shelter and nonprofits, hotels, motels, rental units, homeless shelters, they're all exempt right now and will be. We'll be providing more information around this as we go, but we want to assure you that we are doing everything we can to make sure you're safe during this crisis. In the government, we are making certain moves to ensure that we are ready to respond and have more resources. Such so, we're suspending the standard procurement processes for anything related to the coronavirus. We have submitted to the legislature, which we've been working with President Francis and the other legislators, get an emergency line of credit so that we can meet our payroll and our other debts come April of this year. We're seeking a disaster declaration. We have already done so for small businesses in order to allow for low interest loans and grants. This is important because it is very hard right now to get a declaration of a disaster in any way because we do not have a disaster situation that's current. As opposed to New York that has 1,600 people in their hospital system, we have 0 people that are in our hospitals right now for the coronavirus. That is a good thing, but we don't expect that in the future that will continue. We will start to see patients. We have also requested from the President, Donald Trump, forgiveness of $245 million that we borrowed under the last 2 hurricanes for the community disaster loans. We've always also worked with the delegate to make sure that requests are into Congress while they negotiate the benefit aid and package that will be available to all states. The delegate and our team in Washington is working to ensure that we are included in all of that. Among that is the supplement for the earned income tax credit that we have been working for a long time so that we would be reimbursed for that. There's an additional issue with us now because we have extended, the President has extended the tax filing date, which creates some cash problems. So we're working very diligently to have the earned income tax credit given back to us in order to supplement our needs. We've also activated special resources and people for unemployment insurance. We're expecting that a lot of businesses will be filing for unemployment insurance through their employees. So we're making sure that those businesses have the forms that they can give out to employees immediately, fill out those forms, drop them off at your Department of Labor. We also have an executive order that suspends the requirement for businesses to file for plant closure for another 60 days, allowing businesses to have layoffs without having to come up with the cash to pay for plant closures, which would produce an extra hardship and make it that hard to hire those employees back, as long as they are going to hire those employees back when those businesses resume action. As I have been saying, if you need information, there's plenty of information on COVID out there. Text COVID-19 USVI to 888-777, and you will continue to get our Vitima updates as they come. As we know the information, we'll certainly pass it on to you. www.cdc.gov is another excellent site, and our local site, www.doh.vi.gov. We're going to try to give you as much information as quickly as possible to ensure that you feel comfortable. Next week, we will also be setting up a hotline for people who have questions about the coronavirus, where they can get information so they can call that. Remember, this virus is probably eventually, over the course of a year or 2 years, affect a large portion of our population. Our concern is to flatten the curve, to make sure that when people need medical resources, they are available to them. Our goal has never been to completely have no virus in the Virgin Islands. That is unattainable. We always knew that we were going to have to deal with this virus. Now it's to contain it. Remember, 80% of the people who have this virus recover with no problem. We're doing our best and working 24/7 to make sure that people are being tested and assessed so they can be quarantined. The goal is to protect our most vulnerable population so that if in the off chance they get infected, we have the resources at the hospital. We're constantly working to get new supplies and more resources into the Virgin Islands. We're working with the federal government, just like all other states, to do this. But right now, we are still playing offense and trying to keep the virus spread down to as little as possible in the Virgin Islands. The last thing, if you suspect that you have the virus, treat it like you have the virus. Call the hotline numbers on your screen, 340-712-6299 or 340-776-1519. And they will give you an assessment and tell you if you are prone or a suspect and you need to be under investigation. They will give you instructions on how to be tested, and then they will get it done and give you your results. We're getting in our results a lot quicker now. Every single day we get stronger, better, more resources in fighting this disease nationally as well as globally. We're asking the public to continue to remain calm. There is no need to panic. The food chain supplies are open, but just remember, practice self-distancing and quarantine as much as possible. We'll continue to keep you updated and give you the information. In the meantime, just be safe, stay isolated, stay sanitized. God bless you, and God bless the Virgin Islands.